Yo, it's Dreadlord here, and today I'm finally making that video on how to improve at sniping. Before we begin, make sure to like the video so more people can see these tips and ring that bell so you can stay up to date on future COD mobile content on this channel. YouTube statistics show that only 34% of my viewers are actually subscribed to my channel, so it'd really help me out if you guys subbed. It's free and you can always unsub if you want to. Alright, let's get into this video. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is make sure that your sensitivity and controls are perfect for you. Make sure your controls are in spots where you can easily click all the buttons, because missing your button is obviously not going to help in any situation. Also, sensitivity is key. I highly recommend not copying other YouTubers' sensitivities, because you need to find what works for you, because all these YouTubers, they're running different devices compared to you, and they're holding their device differently from you as well. So you need to set your own sensitivities and let that sink into your muscle memory. I'll be showing you my sensitivities, but once again, I highly recommend not copying them, or at max using them as like a base. Okay, so now before I get into the actual gameplay tips, I'll show you my sniper loadouts. So I do recommend these because I've done a lot of testing and I found that these are the most efficient loadouts. So the first gameplay related tip that you need to focus on is centering. I know a lot of people say this, but I cannot stress just how important this is. Not only will centering help you as a sniper, but it will also help you as an overall player. Like 100% of the time, you need to be centered and looking at where you expect your enemy to come from, so that if they do appear, you simply have to aim in and shoot. Call of Duty Mobile is a game where every millisecond counts, so you can win or lose a gunfight just based off this. So if you have to drag your scope all the way from the floor to the enemy and then shoot, you're wasting precious time to get that kill, and if your enemy is good, you're probably dead by then. In order to get better at this, you really need to be practicing it every time you enter a match, because until it becomes muscle memory, it can be very hard to learn how to do this, and unless you have your full focus on centering, you're not going to be able to see any improvement in this area. The next tip I have might just be more important than the last one, both in life and in COD, and this is confidence. However, when I say confidence, I don't mean overconfidence. Overconfidence won't really do you much good, and really it just makes you angry at the game whenever you're losing. So you need to be confident in your abilities and your skill to kill the enemy. If you hesitate and try to line up a perfect shot with a sniper, you're wasting time and your enemy could easily dodge and kill you. You need to be more confident in your delivery. Scope in, move your crosshair onto the enemy and take the shot. If you hit, good, move on to the next enemy. If you miss, that's alright, reposition and hit him again. As a sniper and a good player, you really need to know that you're not gonna be good every single day. You're not gonna be hitting every single shot every day, winning every game, and you're going to have your ups and downs. But this confidence will help you improve. You'll be able to think about why you're losing your gunfights that day, and you'll be able to improve on this. So you'll be able to think, oh, am I just pushing the enemy too hard? Am I positioning myself poorly? Or is it just because my aim is bad that day? You should probably take a break and come back to the game later that day if any of that is the case. Or you can probably go into a training match and practice on this until you're able to be calm and collected again, and then you can probably go back into another match and you'll be able to just perform better because you're calm and collected and you're not raged or triggered at the game. The next tip that I've mentioned a couple times already in this video is positioning. This especially comes from experience, and the more you play the game, the more you'll improve in this aspect. So as a sniper, your role is to scout enemies and pinpoint their location for your team. If you pick them off from a range, great, but if you don't, it's okay. This information is already very important to your team, and yes, this applies more to the competitive side where you're actually talking to your team and this information actually helps. However, you yourself can use this same knowledge to position yourself better. You always want to place yourself in a location where you'll have the advantage in a gunfight, because why would you put yourself in a 50% win chance gunfight when you could have a 75% chance? So to better your positioning, you need to understand how the maps work. Which locations are enemies going to often go to? How can you challenge them without them noticing you right away? Is your teammate already covering that side of the map? You need to think about these things every time you're playing the game, whenever you're practicing positioning. So you also want to be looking at the minimap to understand how the map is flowing and see where like potential enemies could be, or if your teammate's already covering this lane, and if they die, you know there's an enemy on that side. If they get the kill and you see it in the kill feed, well, you now know that that side is covered. So this just helps you overall maintain the map flow and better win matches, because now you have like overall knowledge of the entire map. And I also highly recommend watching videos about like good lines of sight on different maps, because these spots can be especially helpful with a sniper, because you can just easily pick off enemies without them really expecting it. The next tip I have for you guys is movement. Most people might expect like snipers to be stationary, sitting in the back of the map, picking people off, but as you might have seen with most like professional snipers and with like me a lot of the time, is that we just don't sit around that much. So in reality, snipers need to be moving around the map as well, because like you don't want to get caught sitting in one spot and get picked off by like the enemy sniper, or rushed by like 5 players that see you sitting in that building. You need to understand when to sit back and like when to play more passively, or when to push aggressively and rush in and throw your enemy off guard. So well, this ties into your map knowledge as well and your positioning, because you need to be like confident when you're moving around the map, and you need to be able to understand what's going on around you, so that like you can better prepare for each gunfight. And as you're moving around the map, you are prepared for enemies around any corner, any like position, and you'll know if you can take that gunfight confidently or not. So you also don't want a tunnel vision ever, nor do you want to ever have your ego take over your playstyle, because if the enemy sniper has like an advantage over you and he's been killing you like a few times, don't just keep re-peeking that. That's pretty dumb. You want to re-peek him from a different angle so that you can kill him and you can clear that area for your team. Additionally, your movement in a gunfight itself is also key. So don't stop to shoot when you're like fighting another player, because this just makes you an easy target again. So you need to keep moving, maybe like slide around them and then kill them and move on. But you need to make sure that you're not just standing there. And I see this with a lot of players. They just take the shot, or whenever they're taking the shot, they just stand there. And it's just gonna make you that much easier to pick off like that. And in the end, all these tips won't really help you or be useful if you don't practice them, because it's not going to get into your muscle memory, it's not going to get into your mindset if you don't practice them. So that goes on to my final tip, which is practice is key. The more you practice and apply each of these tips to your daily gameplay, the more you'll actually understand them, and the more you'll actually improve on your sniping. So I recommend going into like a public match or the training room and moving around, centering and shooting targets. You could be working on multiple things at the same time. If you do this, you're going to be working on movement. If you're in a public match, maybe you're doing positioning. You're going to be working on your centering. You're going to be working on your overall sniper aim and just your muscle memory. So you could be working on your flicks and your drag shots to integrate these into your muscle memory. And you should probably try and do this for like 30 to like an hour, but I know that a lot of people don't have this time, so if you can, at least do it for like 10 minutes every day as a warm-up, because it can be really helpful. So if you guys do want me to make a video on like my warm-up routine, I will do that for you guys though. And that's it. Hopefully these tips can help you guys improve at your sniping, and to be completely honest, these tips could really help you with any gun. So practice these and you'll just see gradual but significant improvement in your overall skill. Once again, thanks for watching everyone. Drop a like if the tips help you out, and if you're new here, drop a sub. I'm working on becoming one of the best snipers there is, so the support's greatly appreciated. So yeah, see ya.